Hello, hello, welcome everyone. I just remembered I'm going to have to give everyone permission to chat. Hello, Alicia, Danielle, Marcus, and Natasha. If you can hear me and see me loud and clear, drop a little hello in the chat box. You're probably going to tell me that you can only Q&A, and I need to remember how to turn on. How do I? Come on, bro. Come on, Andrew. You've done this before. Let's go. How do I turn on the chat? Here's the chat. Hosts and panelists, everyone. There we go. Hello, everyone in the chat box. Yes, can only Q&A. Yep, gotcha. Okay. Chat box is open. If you guys can hear me and see me loud and clear, drop a little hello into the chat box. Going to wait for a few people to come on. I expect a few more people based on the number of registrations, and then based on thinking that you usually get about 30% to show up. At this stage, we have Alicia, Danielle, Marcus, and Natasha. Another 5 to 6 cruising on through. Still cannot chat. Trent is here and Sarah is here. Still cannot chat. Bear with me just a moment and we'll get this happening. Oh, who can see your messages? Everyone. Attendees. Yeah, okay. Now you can chat. Now you can chat. Give it a crack. Yes, there we go. Excellent. Cool. Cool. Yeah, so welcome, Trent, Elaine, Sarah, Tash, Danny, Alicia. Good to have you all here. Where are you tuning in from this evening? Just drop a little answer into the chat box, which is now available. Marcus, my man, good to have you here, brother. I saw your registration come in. How are you, mate? Marcus is a good friend of mine back from the Coaching Institute days, is where we originally met. Elaine is tuning in from South Africa. Alicia is in Newcastle, Melbourne. Danny is in Melbourne. Sarah is in Shell Harbour. Trent's in Perth. Marcus is in G-Town, which is Geelong, which is west of Melbourne. Excellent. Okay, we got a few more people coming in. Who else have we got? Oh, no, that looks all right. Cool. Cool. Melva is here too. What's up, Mel? Welcome. Excellent. So what I would also love to hear from you guys is, why are you here? Obviously, I've advertised and promoted this a certain way. Why are you here? What's drawn you in? This evening, we're talking about the fear of fear, and really how addressing the fear of fear is pivotal in having you connect to a place of stillness and peace and rest within yourself, and then being able to live and create and perform from that place. You can do this without needing to stop doing your business or your career. So I would love to hear from you guys. What has drawn you in, whether about the emails, the Instagram posts, the Facebook posts? What has got you investing some of your time here this evening? Welcome, Deborah, to the call. Welcome, Cleo. Or Clea, sorry. Deborah and Cleo, we are just checking in with what's brought you to the conversation this evening. Why are you here and what do you want to get out of tonight's call? Sarah says, unable to chill at times and enjoy the journey. Yep. Deborah says, thank you. Experiencing burnout. You're in the right place, Deborah. What else? Let's get a couple more answers before we kick off. Jenny says, TBH needed an AP top up to remind me of the practices we went through together earlier in the year. Cool. Marcus says, I did a lot of self-inquiry and fear was something that came up for me heaps. Gotcha. Mate, I think you'll quite enjoy what we've got to share this evening, Marcus. You may have not heard the takes that I have these days. So that'll be cool. Trent says, burnout and constant fear, but cannot afford to stop working. Gotcha. Danielle says, deepening my surrender to it as fear can still show up and I allow myself to hold on tight rather than let go. And Tash says, being able to, unable to focus, fear of speaking up. Great. Awesome. Thank you for those answers. I'm going to pop the chat box down for just a moment as I share my screen and go over to a good old PowerPoint slide. Where are we? Here, slideshow from the beginning. So, as it says, how to rest, reset, and refocus without needing to stop doing business. A lot of people have the fear that I can't afford to stop. Too much relies on me. Too much depends on me. I'm a bottleneck for work, for people, for questions, for approval. And there's just too great of a consequence. And so at times it seems that there is no other option but to push on through. There are always more options than that. So whenever you find yourself saying, I can't do X, Y, and Z, it's not that you can't, it's that you're choosing not to. And at times that's okay. Like there's no shaming in this delivery. Because you will just be in a position where you're like, I'm not willing to either risk or face those consequences. So yes, I feel like I have no other option, but truth is I am choosing to continue to work. So what I'm going to be sharing with you this evening is really helpful when it comes to how to find rest and reset and regeneration and refocus without needing to stop doing business. And then ultimately the practices and the insights and the perspectives that I'll be offering, when practiced consistently over time, will have you more deeply connect to space and stillness and peace and balance within yourself, which will then eventually show up in your world, which will give you an opportunity to have a physical breather, for example. So your calendar might be quite busy right now. You've got fear and emotion and energy in your body that continues to create a reality where the calendar fills up and you feel like you can't stop doing business. And a break just isn't possible. But this will be this will be the insights where you can begin to get the rest and the break within yourself, fundamentally change your energy, and all of a sudden it will show up and be reflected back to you in your calendar, and you'll be like, holy shit, I've got some time to rest and to take a break. I'm starting to see the efforts in my world of balance coming into my physical because of the balance that I've found within myself. And here's an insight for you on balance. I just did a testimonial interview with a client this morning, and something that we talked about was the balance that they found within themselves. And we spoke about how they had, parts of them that are just like, I want to keep growing the business for money, and I also want to do it for impact and purpose. And at the time there was a conflict. They felt they were being pulled back and forth between one and the two. And so they were feeling out of balance, and it was stalling their actions and behaviors in business. And through the work of permission to be like, yeah, I want money and success, and yes, I want impact and purpose at the same time. This permission for both parts of this person to be existing in the same place at the same time allowed the space for balance to be found, or for balance to find itself. So think about this. You don't ever directly create balance within yourself, but you allow permission for the parts of you that are out of balance to be, to express, to express to extremes, to move through the body. And as a result of doing that, your body and your internal world will come to a place of balance. To add to that, one of my favorite perspectives that Alan Watts offers is that muddy water is best cleared left alone. So, for example, if there is some muddy water and you keep trying to settle the dust, well, since it's not dust, but settle the disturbance or smooth out the ripples on the top of the surface, you're only adding to the disturbance. But when you leave the water to settle itself, then the murkiness drops to the bottom and the surface returns to stillness. And so that's very much the type of philosophy and perspective and teaching that I bring to the work that I do. Just want to check in with you all first. Does that make sense? This is very much a kind of like my brand is looking at, a grounded spirituality, a practical approach to applying spiritual principles and philosophies in your life for real world results. So just want to check in with you guys. That's making sense so far. Yep. Excelente. Cool. Okay. Next slide. Who am I? My name's Andrew Pierce. I've been coaching for 9 years. I studied human behavior and life coaching at a place called the Coaching Institute. My extended studies have been in shadow work, masculine and feminine energies, inner child work, consciousness, spirituality, ego, non-duality. I do love spirituality and consciousness, and I listen to a lot of Alan Watts. He's very proficient and extensively studied in Taoism, and we'll say things like that it is the belief, like he was talking about the higher self and the lower self, that the belief in a higher self gives life and existence to a lower self and vice versa, whereas really there is just the self. I think it's so interesting to explore and be curious about the contradictions that we create for ourselves and that we then go about trying to solve. Another one that I love that he shares is that nothing further solidifies the existence of an ego than trying to get rid of it. And so what these teachings are really pointing to is do nothing internally, do nothing, be still, be present, resist the temptation to engage with, thought and mind and emotion, because you will only give life to that which creates suffering. And I love that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool. I've traveled 37 countries in my time, lived in Bali for 5 years, love my golfing, my surfing, and the NBA. So that's who I am. So there's a lot more to Andrew, but that's a short little summary. You guys can't see the changing slides. Why would that be? Your screen sharing is paused. Why is that? Thank you for letting me know. Resume the share. There we go. That looks like that must be fixed. That guy on the right, that handsome lad, that's me. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know. Cool. Next one. Okay. So what I'm going to be talking to you guys about tonight is really the first relationship here, but I'm going to give you an overview of the 3 relationships, which is a methodology of change that I've created. It's a journey. It's a personal development journey that you go through. Just want this to piss off. Go. Leave me alone. Can you guys see this little green screen that's in the way? Hold on, I'm just going to stop share and then reshare. Hopefully it fucks off. There we go. The 3 relationships. So this is, yeah, it's a journey that you go through. It's a journey that I take my clients through. And there are 3 distinct relationships. The first one is what we're going to be focusing on tonight. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the 3 just so it makes sense. And then we'll dive into the first. So what we have here is relationship 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take a look at relationship 1 and how and I'll give a run through of the relationship. So the first relationship here is the way in which we relate to fear and emotional pain. What we're addressing here is the fear of fear. We've got relationship 2 and relationship 3. And so I'm going to run through first off just how they work in terms of skill, ability, theme, direction, and gifts. So at relationship number 1, this is where you'll be stressed. This is where you'll be burnt out. This is where you'll be experiencing emotional fatigue. This is where you'll be up in your head overthinking. This is where you'll be tight and tensed in your body. This is where you'll be struggling to enjoy the present moment. This is where you will find that you either distract yourself with work, with food, with sex, with alcohol, maybe with working out and exercise. Because really what is here is there is the inability for this person who has a bad relationship with fear and emotional pain to be with themselves. So you can see on over here on the left, you've got skill, ability, theme, fear, direction, and gifts. So at each relationship, there is a skill that you need to master that supports you in mastering an ability, which supports you in addressing a fear, which supports you in accessing the gifts. You've also got theme and direction here as well. So each relationship has a theme of the kind of inner work that's taking place and what's being done, and a direction as in which way you are heading in life. So for example, the direction of the first relationship is running away. You are running away from your pain. However, when you are healthy in relationship 1 and you come to relationship 2, the direction is you're moving towards that which you want to create in your life and that which you wish to be and who you want to be and what you want to experience. As you come into the third relationship, there are all directions. You're experiencing your world and yourself in an expansive way of freedom, for example. But we'll come back to the first. So someone who is burnt out and overly stressed and stuck up in their head has not yet mastered the skill of emotional release. Therefore, they haven't deepened into the ability to be with themselves. Therefore, at the theme, they are not releasing, they are suppressing and resisting and holding on to. The fear here is being swallowed up and consumed by darkness / staying stuck forever. So the energies we fight, we feed, and what we resist persist. There is a fear that if I don't fight and beat against and fix my emotions, they will win and I'll be stuck in them forever. So you may be doing things in your life to move away from pain that results in you not really moving towards where you want to be, but at least you're moving away from where you don't want to be. And then the gifts are inner peace, calm, stillness, quiet mind, relaxed, rested in body, at ease, and present in the moment, and much, much more. So I'll just run through this again. When you practice the skill of emotional release, you deepen the ability to be with yourself, which means you address the fear of staying stuck forever and being swallowed up. And as you address the fear, you access the gifts. I just want to check in with you all again. Does that flow and process make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yep. Great. Cool. And I'm just going to flow through these slides quickly and go to here. So each relationship also has unhealthy, moderate, and healthy. We won't be looking at anything of relationship 2 or 3 this evening, but later on in the presentation, we'll dive into relationship number 1. So these, we call them symptoms, help you to assess where you are at in each relationship. And if you're not going to be unhealthy in relationship 1 and then healthy in 2 or 3. It just doesn't happen that way. There's a sequence that takes place. And so the healthier you are in relationship number 1, the more likely you are to be healthy in the second and third relationship. All relationships are existing same time, same place, simultaneously next to each other and interconnected. And so there are times where the work that you do in relationships 2 and 3 can have a positive influence on relationship number 1. So there's plenty of depth to this process and this journey. We will come back to that slide in just a little bit. So that's the process. What this 3 relationships internal journey is doing is really mapping out a journey for you of what you need to be doing. If you're at a place of burnout, you need to be focusing on releasing fear, doubt, insecurity, and shadow. You need to be addressing your fear of fear. You need to be addressing your fear of staying stuck forever. You need to be mastering the skill of emotional release so that you can be with yourself, which can be very confronting at times, so that you can access the gifts of inner peace, calm, stillness, and so on. Relationship 2. This is about your relationship to desire and self-expression and self-value. The skill here is self-attunement. So this is the ability to connect into yourself and know what you and gain clarity as we come down to the theme here. Gain clarity on your desire, your direction, and your self-value. So the theme is connection and clarity to desire, direction, and self-value. And the skills that relate to this theme is that of self-attunement. A lot of people live a life where they say, I don't know what I want. I have no idea what I want. I'm feeling lost. I don't have purpose. I need clarity. I'm lacking clarity and direction. And so that person is not proficient in the skill of self-attunement. They haven't mastered the ability to explore, express, and move with desire and change. There's a rigidity there. The direction of the healthy is moving towards, and then the fear is rejection and disapproval from the tribe. The gifts is connection to self, self-security, feelings of value, excitement, fun, joy, happiness. So as you master the skill of this is what I want, which is self-attunement, this is my direction, the ability to be your own source of clarity at any time and any moment, you will deepen your ability to explore those desires, to express those desires, and to move with them and follow them. This, of course, also has you deepen into your value and your self-love. You become your own source of acceptance and approval. And this is what then helps you to address the fear of being rejected and disapproved from the tribe. Also, all the work that you've done in relationship number 1 supports you in doing the emotional work that needs to get done in relationship number 2. Remember that in relationship 1, the skill is emotional release and the ability to be with oneself. As you come into relationship 2, and this is the common theme for people that do coaching with me one-to-one, is they'll rock up to a session. There's a few on the call this evening that have gone through this experience where it's just like, I don't really feel like I've got much to work on as such or things to look at. And I said, yeah, this is what's happening for you here, is that you're experiencing a graduation, let's call it, or a qualification in relationship number 1. You're now coming into relationship 2, which begs the question, what do you want to do? Rather than putting out fires and solving problems, it's like, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? And this question in and of itself brings up its own set of doubts, insecurities, fears, and so on. So that is what relationship number 2 is about. And then relationship number 3 is your relationship to action, time, and resources. The skill is conscious creation. It is the ability to create your reality with your mind. The ability is to hold greater and greater amounts of wealth with ease, peace, and pleasure. So the theme is creation, which is aligning your being to your desire. What that means is if you want something, but your identity is not a match for it, you won't create it, because we don't get what we want in this life, we get who we are. The direction is all directions. The gifts is a freedom, time, balance, receiving, ease, and flow in creation. And the fear is the uncertainty of change. Am I capable, and am I good enough? There's also a fear of loss. There's a lot of people in life who, in a position, who have created resources and who have resources. They've done it from a place of push and force and drive. And so the fear is of losing it. If I slow down, if I stop, if I take a breath, if I take a break, if I rest, will I lose it all? And what's happening here, the work that really takes place at relationship 3 is around your nervous system's ability to hold with ease, peace, and pleasure. So there can be a fear of losing and of dropping off. Cool. Let's go over to you guys and see if you have any questions at this stage. And depending on the question, I might dive into it right now, or it might be a question for later on. But has the flow of the journey, the overarching, that was obviously just a very quick macro introduction to the overall journey of the 3 relationships. Has that made sense? Has it illuminated anything for you? Has it given you an insight or a felt sense as to what relationship you're at or where you need to do most work? Drop a little comment into the chat box and we will go from there. Naomi, welcome to the call. Naomi says, feeling living in 2 right now. Oh my gosh, yes, so much. 1 was a big ride. Yeah, 1 can be a fucking ride and a half. Very much going through and riding the waves of just pain, really. And what's cool about this, and I'm gonna get some more graphics to go into it more, is I've got a methodology as well of emotional release called the 4 permissions, and I've got another one called the power of willingness. There is different permissions and different willingness questions to explore and willingness declarations to declare, or willingness statements to declare for each specific relationship. So that dives deeper into the work that needs to take place. And so the beauty of it, and what I really love about it, is that the 4 permissions just lands over the top of all 3 relationships. The power of willingness scale lands over the top of all 3 relationships. In the 2nd and 3rd relationships, there's 2 primary shadow archetypes per relationship to explore. The first relationship doesn't have any shadow archetypes. Primary shadow archetypes certainly has some shadows to look at. Ain't no doubt about that. But yeah, there's more to it. This is just an intro. Okay. Deborah says, done a lot of similar work previously, but somehow find myself needing to remind myself how to move from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Yeah. So you're always, Debbie, know that you're always in all 3 relationships. The question is, how healthy are you at the relationship? And for example, someone might relate to fear in a very fearful way. Someone might relate to desire in a very fearful way. Oh, that's bad to want that. I shouldn't want that. Or even a guilty way. Someone might relate to resources in a selfish way or in a fear of losing type way. So you're in all three relationships at the same time. The question is really, where are you at? Are you unhealthy? Are you moderate, or are you healthy? And what's the work that needs to be done at each level, at each relationship, to move you from unhealthy to healthy, ultimately? Alicia, feel that I'm in number 2 at this stage. Cool. Jenny, dabbling between 1 and 2 right now. Naomi says, bring on stage 3. Great. Any questions at this stage for those of you playing along? Welcome, Samara. Good to have you here. If you don't have any questions, just please drop into the chat box, all good, so I've got a sense of where you're at. If you're all good, that's all good. But if you have a question, I'll either answer it now or I will address it later on. All good, all good, all good, all good. No questions at this stage, not a problem. Okay, Naomi says, I'm intrigued. If you say you are moderate in stage one, how would that impact stage 2, etc.? Great question. Okay, let's take a look at the symptoms over here. Okay, so the way in which relationship number 1 influences, I'm just going to have a quick sip of my water, actually. So the way in which an unhealthy or a moderate relationship number 1 influences relationship number 2 is that your desire can be fear-based and shadow-based and muddle up in running away from. Think about the Terminator, for example. Let's go Terminator 1. You're this little kid, John Connor, and you've got fucking beasted up Arnie Schwarzenegger with Ray-Bans on, with a shotgun, with a no fucks given demeanor, leather jacket, Harley Davidson motorcycle, just after you and determined to kill you and bring you down. And that at any moment that you are being still, Arnold Schwarzenegger is catching up to John Connor. At any moment that you are being still, the faster you're moving, the further you're getting away from the Terminator, the slower that you're going, the closer the Terminator's getting. So there's not a whole lot of time to slow down and connect to oneself. There's not a whole lot of time to slow down. Well, there is, but there's fear of dying. There's fear of being caught. There's fear of staying stuck. There's fear of losing. And so what happens with an unhealthy and with a moderate relationship number 1, and the way that affects 2, is that it's just like, come on, what do we want? What do we want? Look, let's just choose something. I'm going to take that. Because the fear of emotional pain, the fear of doubt and insecurity catching up, because at level 1, it's moving away from, that then influences the rushing into of moving forward, the rushing into of choosing, the rushing into of going down a career path or a business or whatever it might be. So that is one way in which it can affect being in desire, being in relationship 2. And then it's not a clean and clear desire. And so what happens here is it's a forced desire. It's not what you actually want, but it's what you're forcing yourself to want because you're afraid of being in relationship number 1. You don't have the skill or the ability to be with yourself. How does that then bleed into relationship number 3? Well, what happens is forced desire requires forced creation. So then you've gone from 1, you're in 1 in unhealthy moderate, you're in 2 in unhealthy moderate, and then you're in 3 in unhealthy moderate, And so you've created some results, but you're like, oh, do I really want this? Is this who I am? You're not really feeling connected to it. And you're like, fuck, it's a huge fear to go all the way back and start again. If I ease off, which I would love to do, I'm worried about losing it all and it all coming crashing down. And so you're creating, all of us here are in relationship 3, we're creating. But if it's come from an unhealthy 1, which has gone to an unhealthy 2, which then becomes a forced desire requires forced creation, then it's an unhealthy 3. So great question. Has that answered that for you, Naomi? And then we'll get stuck into the next bit. Just checking the time. Yes, 100%. Great. Cool. Okay, so let's come back here to relationship number 1. And this is the analogy that I have for you. Marcus, forced desire requires forced creation. Love that. Yes. Yeah, so relationship number 2, when you're healthy and it's a clean and clear desire, know that a clean and clear desire has a strong energetic frequency. And how do you get to a clean and clear desire? By mastering the ability to be with yourself is the foundation. Because the ability to be with yourself supports the skill of self-attunement and then the ability to connect to your desire and find clarity. And then from there, this is what I want to do. And how that skill then helps the gifts of joy and fun and excitement is you're doing what you want to do and you're following your joy. And then that flows into the creation that is relationship number 3. This is so juicy. Yeah, love it. Cool. So relationship number 1, fear and emotional pain. The analogy that I have for you here is, imagine that you are in a haunted house all by yourself. Your back's against the wall. You don't have a flashlight or anything. And there's 100 rooms that you need to explore and open up if you want to bring some light into that house and you want to make it a calm, peaceful, enjoyable experience to be in. Currently, you're stressed, you're scared, you're constantly in fight or flight, which is how many people live their life. Always on edge, always some degree of alertness, not a rested body. As you look down the gifts here, one of the gifts is rested body. Busy mind, just alert and sensing danger from a place of safety. This is your psyche. This is your conscious experience. This is the fear of fear. What the fuck is this emotion in my body? Why am I having these thoughts? And what does that mean about me? Am I fucked up? Am I crazy? Am I weird? So then there can be shame and guilt and embarrassment around the thoughts and fear of someone finding out that you're having those thoughts. Where does this emotion come from? Where does this shadow come from? Is this who I am? And so what a high fear of fear, the way that you relate to fear and how high your fear of fear is or how low it is will influence whether your body is open or closed to fear. And whether your body is open or closed to fear and the degree to which it is will influence whether fear releases from your body or not. If fear doesn't release from your body, you stay unhealthy in relationship 1. If fear does release from your body, then you'll find that you elevate and move forward into healthy. And then it's like, I don't feel like I've got that much to work on today, Andrew. Great. The question of relationship 2 is very different. What would you love to create? What do you want to do? And so this is how many are going around, and the conscious experience, I tell you what, it can be very confronting, very deep, dark, uncertain, unstable, shaky, and scary. And so you're in that haunted house. The only piece of certainty that you have is your back against the wall. That's it. Now, your back against the wall could be your job. could be your relationship. And both of them could be shit, for example. Oh, I hate my job. Oh, my relationship, my partner, this and that. But that's your back against the wall. That's the only thing you've got. And you're just, so in this haunted house looking out, you're terrified of everything in front of you. So you're like, I'm not going to leave the only piece of certainty that I have, even when it's shit. So the first part of exploring your relationship to fear and emotional pain and moving forward in this way is bringing more of yourself into your conscious experience with yourself, because you need to explore the house. Because when you go to door one and you have the willingness to open it, even though you're scared to do it, and you explore and you turn on the light, all of a sudden the door stays open and the light of room one illuminates that haunted house just that little bit. Then you go into door two and it could say daddy issues on the front. And you look at door 3, 4, 5, 6, and they all say daddy issues. And you're just like, fuck, I've got some stuff to explore here. And then you get a glimpse of 7 and it says childhood trauma. And you're like, oh my God, oh, what could that be? And you're just nervous about it before even being at the door. You're like, fuck, what's in there? What does this mean? Holy shit. And then you go through the doors and you get some light into the house, and all of a sudden just being in the house feels that bit more safer. You can see more. You're calmer. You've explored some doors. And you're like, all right, I can explore some doors. Being in this house there's more peace. I'm more at ease in this house. And then you've gone through the 6 and you're like, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of a breather. And then the desire comes about. You're like, oh, geez, I'd love a bit more light in the house. I'd love to open up this section. That'd be really cool. And you're just like, but fuck, I've got to go through door 7. I've got to go through door 7. No, and if you're not willing, if the fear of door 7, because you've just done 6, and then you hit door 7, Andrew, I don't know what happened. I feel like I've gone back to the start, even though the 6 doors are still open. I feel like I've forgotten everything. How do you surrender again? All this type of stuff. But your willingness, the fear of door 7 is greater than your willingness to explore it. So you need to go back to the power of willingness scale. You need to work through some permission. You need for your willingness to be greater than your fear. Then you're like, fuck, all right, door 7, let's go. And you open up door 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're just like, oh, that's nice. And then the whole process continues to go. You come to door 50 and you've done 49 doors. But all of a sudden, door 50, you're just like, wow, this is just for whatever reason, and I don't even know why. And you'll get stuck up in your head trying to think and make sense of it. Why? But why, Andrew? I need to figure this out and analyze it. It's like, nah, back to willingness, back to permission. It's okay. Door 50 scares you more than any other door for whatever reason. And then it's the same process of opening up the doors. And then you come back and you kick back and you're like, I've opened 70 doors. You're like, this ain't bad. And just, there's peace. There's calm. There's stillness. There's a quiet mind. You're relaxed, got a rested body. You're at ease. You're present in the moment because you can see, because there's so much light in the house now. You tinker away. You fix some things. You change some things around. You bring some things in. You take some stuff out. None of which you could really do before because it was so dark and so scary. And so this is addressing the fear of fear. And this is the first way to go about it. It is about imagine that you're in that haunted house and all of a sudden just one friend comes in with one flashlight, not even 2, but just one flashlight. All of a sudden, you're like, all right, let's go to the first door. Because you've got one more person in there with you and a flashlight. All right, let's go to the door. And then you've got 2 more people in there and 3 flashlights. You're like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good for the first 6 doors. Once we get to the 7th, I'll then talk about it. And then as you go through the doors. As a result of releasing the fear, just an automatic effect of releasing the fear and the experience of going through emotional pain and fear and being like, okay, I can handle that. There's many strengths and confidences that are growing, which is just more and more of you coming in the house. So you're heading to door 7, and there's 10 of you in the house, and you've all got flashlights, but there's still like door 7, and you can still feel like, fuck, I feel like I'm back at the start. But it's like rally the troops, and away we go. So I'm going to share with you how to do that, just guide you guys through it. But I want to check in first. What are you liking and loving so far? Just drop it into the chat box. What's really landing or resonating for you? What's making most sense? What's been illuminated for you? Would love to hear from you, Alicia, Deborah, Elaine, Jenny, Clea, Marcus, Naomi, Tash, and Mel, Samara, and Trent. It could be a one-liner, like before Marcus shared, force desire equals force creation. It could be, I just love the whole 3 relationships, or I'm really digging relationship number 1. Could be the haunted house analogy. But it could be what you're liking or loving. It could be what stood out for you most so far. It could be maybe a sentence that you're like, oh, I can feel the potential of that sentence for me. You know, I had a session with someone the other day, more just like they were giving me a bit of a reading of where my energy was at and some blocks. And I was like, oh yeah, I can feel the potential of what you've shared there, because I can feel it in my body. I can feel the depth of it. Therefore, I can feel the depth of potential of working on that piece that you've just illuminated for me. Okay. Great analogy. Thank you, Naomi. All makes perfect sense. Thank you, Tash. Tamara, relationship 1 is standing out for me. Gotcha. Tash, love the haunted house analogy. Marcus, the analogy of the haunted house is a ripper to illuminate the inner landscape. Totally, my man. Thank you. Alicia, control what is controllable. Yes, I like that. Jenny, for some reason, I didn't realize that the relationships were there all the time. Yes. Elaine says, love the haunted house analogy. Do feel like I have to go back and open up a few more doors. Cool. Trent, how fear in relationship 1 is affecting relationship 2 and relationship 3. So many desires and creation experience is corrupted. Gotcha. Debbie, following my passion to change career into my life's purpose. Awesome. Jenny says that landed well just now. Great. And Tash says, makes sense to get to a certain door and feel like you're back at the start. Yes, totally. Cool. What do we got? We got about 12 minutes left. Okay. So just a little insight for you here on the relationships with the symptoms. So an unhealthy relationship to relationship number 1, to fear and emotional pain, you will be highly stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, and or burnt out. You'll be suffering with addictions, whether it is eating, work, exercise, sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever it might be, some form of distraction, scrolling social media. Busy mind, constant thinking, lots of worry, just an inability to switch off that mind. Emotional fatigue, you'll just be feeling it in the body, tensed body as well, inability to switch off and relax, tired, always having problems to solve and fires to put out. It's just where your energetic frequency is at. Something always seems to come in. Or you're like, next week, Wednesday's looking great for me to have some time off, then the calendar just fills up. And I would love for you guys to share. As I'm sharing these and you're reading these, looking at the screen, just comment in the chat box where you feel you are. Unhealthy, moderate, healthy. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad here. There's not one, obviously healthy is better than unhealthy, but there's no answer that is better than another, is what I mean. Ideally, you want to be at healthy, but the honest answer of where you is at right now is the best answer. At times we might be like, no, I think I'm healthy, or no, I'd say I'm moderate. but really it's likely that you're at least one below where you say you are or where you think you are. So just comment in the chat box below. There might be a symptom that you really resonate with. So in the moderate, not highly stressed, but still not calm. More clarity of thought, but still always thinking. There's more control over addictive behaviors, but you still slip into them in stressful times. So this is, in stressful times, healthy in this level, bam, emotional relief, ability to be with yourself. But moderate is you'll still slip into those unhealthy behaviors in stressful times because of the fear of fear that still surfaces. Less tension in the body, but deep rest and relaxation is hard to access. And I will guide you guys through bringing more people into your house in just a moment. And then healthy, you have calm and clear in the mind, inner peace and stillness, present in the moment, rested and relaxed in the body, rejuvenation of energy, ability to switch off mind, a grounded energy and presence that allows others to feel safe with you / drawn to you, and no apparent problems in life that need to be fixed. Okay, what do we got? Naomi, recognizing how much these relationships impact each other. Yes, totally. Deb says unhealthy. Tamara says in between moderate and healthy. Trent currently unhealthy. Jenny moderate, which is a massive improvement from 6 months ago. Absolutely it is. Naomi noticing the potential of sliding up and down that scale and that it would move depending on that commitment to self and relationship one. Yep, there's definitely sliding and fluctuating between. That's completely normal. Tash says moderate. Naomi. Clea says unhealthy emotional fatigue. Malva says moderate. Naomi says sometimes healthy. Marcus says ricochet from moderate to unhealthy with occasional spikes of uber healthy. Alicia, in moderate at the moment, but crossing to high stress at times. Looking forward to having some strategies to get healthy. Awesome. Cool. So here is the way in which to begin to bring more of you into the house with you, into the conscious experience, so that there's a greater courage and willingness to move forward and explore. And it is by saying to yourself, and first off, getting your attention. Think about sometimes you're talking to someone, but you know they're not really listening, and you've got to be like, hey, James. And it's like, sorry, mate, what do you got to say? This is what I want to say. And then what you're saying, it lands. It has a greater impact. It's being received. So what you want to do is, whether your eyes are open or your eyes closed, whatever works best for you, is get your attention first. You're like, hey, Marcus. You just notice that you're, a lot of times people say affirmations and they say things to themselves, but they're not even landing because you haven't gotten your attention first yet. You can say, hey, Naomi, Alicia, hey, Alicia, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I'm here with you. I've got your back. We're in this together. We are in this together. And so what you're doing is you get your attention first, and then you let yourself know, hey, I'm in here with you. I've got your back and we're in this together. Now, there's a multitude of experience that might take place here. You may feel sad in the realization of how much you've lacked a sense of self-support. You may feel a sense of relief and safety, being like, oh, thank God. You might feel a sense of confidence and excitement to be like, all right, let's get into exploring. Whatever your experience is, there's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad, there's just what your experience is. So just take a moment to get your attention first and be like, hey, it's okay. I'm here with you. We're in this together. I've got your back. And there might be one that you just rinse and repeat. You might even be coming up with one of your own that feels good. But just letting yourself know, I'm here with you. And I would just love for you guys to share what this experience is like for you. You might have a part of yourself that's just like, fuck off, don't believe it. And there are ways to address this. But what's your experience like of slowing down, getting your attention and being like, hey, I'm here with you. I've got your back. We're in this together. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. And guys, let me be a source of permission for you now. It is so okay to be scared of exploring your mind and emotions. It is so okay to be scared of diving deep into your body. It's uncertain as fuck. And if you don't have the insight or the tools or the experience of having done so, there's going to be a high fear of fear. So it's totally okay. And letting yourself know this, giving yourself this permission, is the starting point of addressing the fear of fear, of changing the way that you relate to fear. And that, as has been demonstrated here with relationship number 1, is what's going to lead you to accessing the gifts, the rest, the regeneration, the ability to refocus and reset without needing to stop doing business. So if you could just jump into the chat box, what was that experience like for you? What came up? Just let me know. Naomi, noticing emotions rising, feeling vulnerable, and also feeling a sense of being held. Great. Perfect. Just going to have a sip of my water. It was more of a chug. Would love to hear from a few more of you. Who do we still have here? Alicia, Deborah, Elaine, Natasha, Trent, Samara, Mel, Naomi, Marcus, Clea, and Jenny. Naomi, I was going to say guzzle. Yeah, it wasn't a sip. It was not a sip. Natasha, feeling more supported in myself. Great. Trent, sadness, realizing how alone I am. Yeah, man. And it's okay to feel that way as well. But good to at least be here with this awareness. Jenny, noticed I was being numb to those I'm here with you statements. Yeah, happens. Deborah, nauseous, feel like puking. Also completely normal. Deborah, I want to let you know that you're safe here, that it's normal, that the swirling of emotion, the swirling of fear, the intensity of it at times can really have some physiological responses. Can't hurt you, can't beat you or take you over, but can certainly evoke some nausea. Mel, the realization of self-abandonment. Gotcha. Cool. All righty. So for those of you who would like to stay on, I'm now going to talk about my Infinite Flow program, which is a way in which you can dive deeper into this work with access and support to myself and journey the 3 relationships, journey the archetypes, journey the power of willingness scale, journey with the 4 permissions. So if you're all good and that's for you, thanks very much. Not a problem. You're more than welcome to sign off. If you're interested to have a listen and explore, that's what I'm going to be talking about next. So the Infinite Flow program. Infinite Flow is a self-study program with ongoing access to a membership site and 3 months of access to a Facebook group. It walks you through the shadow archetypes, the inner work, and the processes of the 3 relationships. Has 5 different modules that take you deep into yeah, that take you deep into the 3 relationships and the work that needs to be done throughout that. There's been over about 120 people that have successfully come through the program. And what Infinite Flow teaches is it teaches the skill of emotional release. I'll just go through the 3 relationships. The skill of emotional release so that you can deepen the ability to be with yourself and then access the gifts. It teaches you the skill of self-attunement so that you can flow and move with desire. And it teaches you the skill of conscious creation and how to hold and change the being of your nervous system so that you can create a new reality. I'm open to any questions that you have about the Infinite Flow program. If you have them, you can send them through. And for anyone who joins within the next 24 hours, oh, it's 997, by the way. I admittedly, I forgot to put that. I forgot to put that in here. I'll just add it here, as you can see. 997, or there are payment plans available of 150 a week or 200 a week. Not from the beginning. It's okay. And it's a self-study program. You start when you join. For anyone who joins within the next 24 hours, you receive a free one-to-one shadow archetype analysis with me. What this is looking into your primary shadow archetype. It's completed via Facebook Messenger, and I will give you an analysis of the core shadow archetype that's in your body that's playing out that you need to address, and the specific traits and characteristics that are going to be most beneficial for you moving forward, creating change, going to the next level. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard this evening and you want to dive into the 3 relationships, you want to get yourself out of that burnout and into a place of flow and alignment within yourself, then the Infinite Flow is the program to do that for you. I'm just going to jump into. Tash says, thank you. Debbie says, thank you, I need to run, but we'll get more info later. Cool. Any questions at this stage, either about anything that I've presented or the Infinite Flow program? If you're all good, please comment below all good in the chat box. If you have a question, I'm happy to hang around and answer for you. If you're interested in one-to-one coaching, you're also welcome to reach out and let me know. What have we got here? Trent, all good. Marcus, all good. Naomi, is this an evergreen program? Yes. There is a membership site that you'll have ongoing access to. What I mean by ongoing is my intention is that you have access to it for as long as possible. But I don't say lifetime access because that's just such a big commitment for me to make in such an uncertain world. I don't want to be 80, 85, 90 years old still with this, having to keep access to this membership site. And then there is 3 months of access to a private Facebook group. Now, this program used to be delivered live over 1 month. So 3 months of access is more than enough time to be able to step in, do some work, step out, have a breather, step back in, ask some questions, step out, and so on and so on. But yes, it is an evergreen, self-study, go at your own pace type program. And knowing that I'm there in the Facebook group to access if you have any questions or if you need some direction or guidance with anything. Elaine, thank you. Andrew, going to go. I'll chat to Deborah later about Infinite Flow. Cool. Thank you, Elaine. Appreciate you sharing it. Any other questions or all good at this stage? You're welcome, Trent. Take care. If you're all good, please just comment below all good in the chat box. Who have we got left? Jenny and Naomi. And then we can wrap it up. If you're interested, let me know. I can send you the link, or you can reach out and we can go from there. All good. Thanks again, not a program. Naomi, I love your work, and I asked because I know it's something I'd need to set for beginning of next year. So just to clarify, I can purchase the program anytime. Yeah, you can purchase the program anytime. There is the paid in full of 997, and there is also the payment plan option of either 150 a week or 200 a week that can make it more accessible to get started whenever anyone wants to. Cool. Alrighty, that seems to be all the questions at this stage. Thank you for playing along. Absolute legend. I'll continue stealing you till then. I'm not sure what that means, but stalking. Okay, yeah. There you go. Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy your evening, and I'll chat to you soon. Take care.